Hello everyone and welcome back to the Motor Trade Mentors podcast with David Gott, the lovely car company, and myself, Joe Betty of Sparrow Motors, and today our special guest, which is Jordan Alkawosme, owner of Red Sparrow Limited, Red Sparrow Motors, I should say. He's written into us using the inquiry form on our website, which you can find, which is shiftingmetal.co.uk. And we normally ask for 3 challenges, but Jordan's given us 4, so we've got plenty to talk about. His 4 main issues are, number 1, not many online inquiries, because he's not on AutoTrader at the moment. 2 is prep level. So I don't know what he means by prep level, but we'll get into that in a minute. Probably, is he over prepping? Number 3, he's not FCA regulated. He does finance through a broker. And number 4 is accounting, marginal VAT. He's currently using an Excel sheet and would love a software solution. It definitely makes sense. Okay, so what do you want to achieve from being on the podcast? So he'd love to learn from the experienced dealers. So he's shit out of luck. Come and speak to us. Most importantly, I want to point out where he can improve, and he also thinks it'd be good for his mental health to come on and share with people who can relate, which it usually is. So thank you, Jordan, for coming on. In your own words, give us sort of 30 seconds about yourself and how Red Sparrow came about.
Thank you for having me today. It's an absolute pleasure to be on the podcast. In a nutshell, I'm 32. And I've started Red Sparrow Motors about 2 years ago in 2022, October. So it's pretty much been 2 years now, exactly. I used to be in a completely different industry. I owned a pharmaceutical company. I did imports, exports of pharmaceutical drugs for about at least 5-6 years. The industry was just really not my thing at the end. It's just really corrupted. I wanted to be out, and I collected cars as a hobby. And let's just say this was my way of trying to convince my wife to get me car, and it kind of developed into a business. So there you go. Yeah, the rest is history. I absolutely love it. I'm surrounded by cars all day. I am a people's person. Love talking to people. Selling them decent cars, trying to change that dodgy car dealer rep, if you know what I mean. It's been very difficult doing that on my own, I'll be honest with you, but we're trying. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We're not a very, very big dealer. We stock normally between 15 to 20, sometimes 25 cars, depending on how great of a month we're having. And that's pretty much it.
Brilliant. Is it just you who's working in the business? Have you got anyone with you?
Literally just me at the moment. I do have a couple of friends that do come and help out. Let's say once every 6-7 days, maybe, or something like that. If we need to go get a car from somewhere or something like that. But it's the buying, the selling, the dealing with the customers, the accounts, the whole lot's literally on my shoulders, basically. Yeah.
Let's have a look at the website. Dan, have a look at this.
You judge it really. I did this myself. Like, it took me 2 months to actually design this and come up with it. So I know it's not maybe the most professional website you could basically have.
It looks great, but at the same time, it is so much like Car Dealer 5 website it's pennies. I don't know how much it is for the year. I think it's like 500 quid a basic one. So you're probably better off getting a Car Dealer 5 website, I think, or and there's lots of other companies, But that looks good. That looks really good.
I've always had my own web hosting, and I just felt like if I went to one of the main companies that are out there that do provide this service, I'm not going to mention names right now, but you probably know you could count them on your fingers, basically. I just feel like they kind of take you hostage, if you know what I mean. Like, if you don't pay that monthly fee, you don't have a website anymore, if you know what I mean. And I just didn't want to be in that position. So
yeah, I think that probably works well for you because you've obviously because you built this with WordPress by the looks of it. You know what you're doing, but most of us, I mean, I know a little bit of WordPress now, but most people just don't want to know about it, do they?
It's not easy. Let's put it this way. It looks really, really simple. It's very time consuming.
Yeah. How are you listing the cars on there individually, or is that fed
on
from
my website? Unfortunately, it is exactly the case. But on everything else that we use, I do have one portal where I just enter the details and it just spreads it to all our advertising channels. So my website is a standalone website. This is what I do late at night. The website, basically, mainly.
Fair enough. All right. So where are you advertising then? Because you said you're not an AutoTrader.
Yes. So this is the decision that I had to make 2 years ago. So I either jump on AutoTrader and be like every other dealer around me, or I could try and diversify the advertising channels for a lot less money as well. So what I ended up doing, I I do advertise with the AA. I'm on the AA marketplace, which again, it comes with all the perks of being with the AA. You're an A's, you commit to the AA standards, all that gives you that. You can put that on your website, you can use the warranties, etc. And also obviously be on the marketplace. So that's one. I've got Motors, so that's eBay, Gumtree, and everybody affiliated with them. And I've got Car Gurus and Piston Heads, so obviously they're together as well. And I think that's pretty much it. But I've do got a few local listings, like I deal with the NHS and NHS members and workers around this enforcement as well. I think it's available to about 28,000 people around us. So these are my advertising channels at the moment.
Okay. So eBay Motors Group and AA, basically. You get all those different things with it, but that's the two. They're the two subscriptions you're paying. Is that right? Yeah, fair enough.
So it's AA. I think AA, Car Gurus, and Motors.
Are you doing a paid Car Gurus?
Yes,
Okay.
So,
Do you
so
get good results?
it's quite a bit as well.
yeah. How much are you spending a month on advertising?
All of what I've just mentioned is still cheaper than going with AutoTrader.
But how much is it?
So if I should give you a rough number, I'm talking about £800 a month. That's just my actual listings online. But then I do other things for advertising as well. Like I do sponsor my local team, so Portsmouth FC. We're on the big Megatron screen when they have their home games. I got a big massive QR code next to the scoreboard, and people just scan it on their phones. It takes them to their Google reviews and then to the website. So, I just thought, let me try different things, think out of the box, basically. Um, we did have a little bit of a good response from that. I mean, fans love it, especially when I've got a Pompey blue car in stock. It doesn't really stay with me more than 2-3 days, which is good. Um, but yeah, I that's literally all I do. But then I've got other people around me that are AutoTrader. They are paying through the nose, but I hate to say it, they aren't getting results.
Yeah, I think there are other ways of doing advertising.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, I would say sponsorships of teams and all that sort of stuff doesn't pay in the long
No.
run. But you might be having good results. It's good for getting your name about, but it's not directly going to help you sell cars. I wouldn't have thought. I might be wrong, but
It's going to help you more buy cars.
that's
Yeah.
true.
I do get a lot of phone calls, people offering me the cars though.
That's a great. But and how many cars are you selling a month through this advertising?
So honestly, about like my average month, I would say about 6 or 7 cars
Yeah.
is my average, which is basically just under half my stock nearly.
See, I personally think if you got rid of Car Gurus, all the stuff, and you spent an extra grand, say 1,800 quid on AutoTrader, you'd probably sell 15 cars a month.
One of those things, isn't it? Me and David, we tried everything. If I had to pick one advertiser, like get rid of all the others, then 100% I would put all my eggs into the AutoTrader basket.
Haven't you stopped using AutoTrader? Or
I think we're both trying to sort of whittle it down because, like you say, it is expensive, but I don't think either of us would give it up, especially because you've got the data and all that sort of stuff that helps you buy. And
I think as well what me and Joe have sussed out, or like a light bulb sort of moment, is speed of sale of cars. So for me, I've always had 40 cars. My formula's been have 50 cars in stock and have 40 cars advertised on AutoTrader. But it wasn't the right stock that I was selling. But even so, I'd still sell 20 cars a month, which would still make us a profit. However, now we're selling a different type of stock, but we're selling the cars quicker because it's more focused on AutoTrader advertising. So we're cutting it down to 35, but I'm confident we're going to sell 25 cars out of the 35 car package. So that's what you've got to think of. It's speed of sale. It's turning them round as quick as you can. It's numbers.
If I can see these numbers, oh man, that's it. Like, I'm in. But the thing is, with AutoTrader, because I tried, I said, listen, can you give me a try? Can I just try the service? But now you got to commit. You got to just take the bullet and commit with them and take that package and pay that for a whole year, and that's that. And that's what really kind of crushes me, because I need a little bit of a transitional period between going from Cloud Guru / System Heads, AA, whatever I'm using, into AutoTrader, if you know what I mean. Because if I lose them and then I lose them, then I'm just absolutely screwed.
The good news is, like you say, you don't want to sign up for 12 months or whatever. With AutoTrader, you don't have to. With eBay Motors Group, they're going to tie you in with a contract. Same with Car Gurus, they're going to tie you in for a minimum period. AutoTrader, you can change it mid-month how many cars you want. If you're like, oh, I've paid for 20 cars, but I don't need them, you can do it day by day. And like 1 month is the minimum. So you could sign up. I think the cheapest package is about 700 quid plus VAT for 7 or 8 cars. And it, try it for I mean, I wouldn't say try it for a month. I'd try it for a couple of months maybe.
Okay, I mean, I did try AutoTrader for the more expensive stuff that I had like a couple of months ago. I mean, I don't think I even overpriced the vehicle. It's like whatever AutoTrader actually suggested, I go under that by like another £350. So I thought my market price was pretty, not just fair, it's like bang on. And it was a Mini Cooper, Mini Cooper S. I think. Oh, sorry, Mini Clubman S. And it was a manual car in Volcano yellow. So it's like a really, really nice car, 2017. And I thought, hey, what's the cheapest one on AutoTrader? And I just went under that. I haven't even listened to that.
You're thinking with an eBay mindset. It doesn't work like that with AutoTrader.
Too cheap.
I know exactly what you're thinking, because I started out only selling on eBay Motors Group, when it was eBay and Gumtree and Facebook even all in one thing. And again, you just want to be the cheapest, and if you did, things would sell quite quickly, and it'd have to be cheaper cars. But when you get up to, you're selling like nice stuff, you know, like 10 grand mark or whatever, not as many people are looking for those cars on eBay and the likes, I don't think. I think they're going through search filters on AutoTrader, they're going to the trusted place. And yeah, again, people would put like an individual like advert on AutoTrader. It's you've kind of got to commit to a month or two. But I mean, there's a reason. Like me and Dave have been doing it for years, and I mean, I'm paying £4.5 a month to AutoTrader. Dave's will be even more.
How many cars are you advertising on AutoTrader at the moment?
That's about 30, I think.
Horrendous.
But
we're turning over about £500,000 a month.
The best advice I ever got, and I've told Joe this loads of times, on my old podcast, I'd done an interview with David Horgan, and I used to say exactly the same as you. Oh, AutoTrader, it's a fortune, it's this, it's that. And he said that the trick is to make your AutoTrader bill look small. So you're saying there, oh, 1,500 quid a month, it's a fortune. To me now, 1,500 quid a month for an AutoTrader bill, that would be heaven on earth. You know, it's cheap, is it? You know what I mean? Like, I've been paying for 4 years, £5 a month. And I've not even thought about it. I've never struggled to pay it. I've always paid the bill. I've always turned the cars over. I've always got good part exchanges in. I've always got plenty of finance enquiries. It's just this big machine that you've got to use. It's like your flywheel of your business. And I hate AutoTrader. I'm not promoting them. I absolutely hate them. But it's something you need if you want to progress.
Works, and you can't say anything other than that. That's the thing. This is why at the beginning I did tell you. I look around me, and whoever's using it, I can clearly see they're shifting a lot more, a lot faster. I'm not pissed because they're doing well. I'm pissed because I made the wrong decision. I think, you know, and maybe it's time to go back to the drawing board and review the whole advertising situation. I think in November, I have a lot of my contracts coming to an end. Like, I'm definitely hand on heart, never going back with the AA. I just feel like the people who really, let's say, trust this brand now, that generation has long gone. The newer generation, people looking out for cars and everything, so some of them don't even freaking recognize the brand. So let alone actually come here because I'm an AA standard car dealer, you know. So I'm definitely getting rid of that. And we don't get any inquiries from them anyways. Maybe I get 2 a year. I'm not even joking. It's not that. But the one thing I have to say, every single inquiry you get from the AA, it's a sale. It's a
Yeah.
100% sale.
Yeah.
But never had inquiry come from them and it was like pending or this or that. I want to think about it. They come here, they see the car, they're for it. Well,
But like you said, that's 2 sales a year, so
exactly.
that's got to cover probably 2.5 grand for the year, or 3 grand, or whatever it is for the AA. Because I used to do it as well, and I think people do like the AA brand. But I mean, we've stopped paying it, and we still got the AA signs up. So
Yeah,
you
that's what
know,
it was to me.
it's only a bit of plastic on the wall, you know.
That's it.
And you can still do the AA warranties if you want.
Of course
It's a
you can.
Yeah,
separate thing, you know.
the warranty is a whole separate thing. I mean, I didn't mention it on my email to you, but that's a whole different wormhole, man. Like, I'm with warranty wise at the moment. Okay. Oh boy, it's been interesting with these guys because I mean, look, sometimes they're really, really good, but sometimes they're really bad. And I'm not really sure if it's the specific cars, if it's a car to car basis where they're like, uh, yeah, for example, we can offer you the higher packages, the gold, platinum, whatever. And on the lower packages, they just absolutely just don't cover anything.
Mm.
And even when something comes to them and it should have been covered, they just, hey, it's wear and tear. We can't really cover that now. It's wear and tear. And you end up forking the money from your own pocket because you don't want to be taken to court. You know, there's 6 months consumer right acts, this, that. And from what I learned after dealing with warranty wise or warranty company, I think it's better doing it in house, honestly.
Yeah, I think if you can, seem sensible enough that you could manage it yourself. Self warranting is going to save you money in the long run. I think I got to the point where I was like, oh, I was using warranty wise as well as maybe as well as others, and you think, oh, it's 100 and let's say on average it's 120 quid per car for a 3 month warranty. That kind of covers me, and it's just peace of mind, and I can work it out in the profits. But then at the end of the month, you think, God, I've given them 3 grand this month, and I just asked them if they could replace a window switch, and they're like, nah, and I'm like,
Exactly. It's a
seriously,
slap in the face.
you've had 3 grand off me this month alone, and you can't do that. So there's loads of different ways you could kind of do your own self-funded whatever. I just kind of just do it and take it on the chin as and when it happens. But you could obviously just take 100 quid from every car and stick it in a separate account. I think that's a really sensible way of doing it. And then every 6 months you could probably pay yourself a lovely little dividend that goes back into buying you an extra car or something.
That's very brave of you, seeing that you love to sell Range Rovers.
Brave or stupid, but I've got a mixture of both. It's got to be worth trying the AutoTrader. You've got the right stock for it, and if we go back on your website, it's all like properly AutoTrader fodder, isn't it? I wouldn't have thought it would be.
I mean, like the Jazz, all these cars should be flying out, especially on AutoTrader. The Jazz, I think I'd struggle with. Well, they're all automatic. That you've got some really nice automatic cars there in a really good price range. Again, that Volvo, ideal AutoTrader stock. The Golf,
Yeah.
that'd go quick. I go automatic. Yeah, possibly because it's under 10 grand.
RAV4,
RAV4, that'd fly out.
Tiguan.
Love my Tiguan's, I love my Caterpillars.
Yeah, you know, you will be
I mean,
selling
seeing as
15 cars a month, I think, if you price them right.
I tell you what, if how many? Don't know how to work this. It's one of those things trying to convince someone, but I just say that if you paid the minimum package and put your best or most expensive 7 cars on there, whatever it is, if you didn't make double what you paid for the advertising, I'd give you 50 quid.
Yeah,
I don't know how we calculate it, but
Oh.
yeah,
you know, 800 quid, it's only what, like
yeah,
half a car you got to sell extra to cover it, and I guarantee you'll probably sell, you know,
yeah.
at least 4, if not more.
Back in the day when I first started, there was a dealer right just over the road from me, and he was like, "I'm never paying for AutoTrader." He went, "I've got my salesman. He's in the office. and he waits for people to walk past, and he's the best salesman in the world. And I was like, how much do you pay your salesman? And he's like, I think he got like 1,200 quid a month, but he got like 100 quid a car, something like that. So this was the trader. Then he had a salesman. Then he had to get a valet, sub the valeting out. And I thought, well, AutoTrader is saving me on a salesman. That money that I'm paying AutoTrader is my salesman. That's what it is. That's what it is. That is getting you the sales. So you've got to you've got to change your mindset. You've got to not be like, oh, I've got to give all this money out. It's like your employee and it's working for you.
Do you know what's funny as well is you can spend the 800 quid on eBay, AA,
Exactly.
car gurus and whatever. Car gurus are not that on the head for sure. That's just my opinion. But trying to get spread it out. What's the best value for not everyone looks on eBay, but some do, and not everyone looks on car gurus. But it's okay, and they've all got these metrics of how many people visit the site to sell you. But real life experience tells you, forget that. Condense it into the one place that everyone goes, which is AutoTrader. Everyone knows AutoTrader. Everyone's going to go there and look. Even if they're looking on eBay, I guarantee they're going to look on AutoTrader as well. Do you know what I mean? So you're kind of getting all the market, but it does cost a lot. So, but yeah, that's that. I guess we've covered that. We've given you your sort of marching orders for getting AutoTrader. I think just try it. Just try it.
It's a good. I think on board, and I'm gonna definitely explore this 100%, and just see if it really makes the operation a lot smoother, faster. Then it's a definite switch for sure.
It would be good having the data as well and stuff like that.
Exactly.
When it comes to buying. Where are you getting your stock currently?
Stock. So when I first started, I just had a phobia from buying cars from auctions because I just had that idea in my head. That car's in auction for a very good reason. But then I started finding it really difficult finding stock, and finding really decent stock as well. I do have a few friends that work at a couple of main dealers that I know they're spread out across the country. Like I've got some in London, you've got Northampton, you've got some in Swindon. They're just relationships I've had with people for a very, very long time, and they ended up being in the motor trade as well as salespeople or admin stuff. And I did approach a few of them just to talk to them about possibly getting part exchanges and stuff like that. Some of them were really good with it, and they do call me on a weekly basis. If there's anything that's nice, comes in, and it matches the criteria that they know what I like, they'll just tell me, hey, you want to come in and take a look at this? Sometimes even I don't even go there, just send me a quick video. Yeah, looks good, bring it over. We obviously check it, make sure it's all good, prep it, and sell it. So this is where most of my cars come. But then recently I've started exploring and dabbling through auctions because, as I said, it's just the numbers. I needed to keep my stock levels, proper. So I started buying from auction. Freaking Russian roulette, man. It's I can't really say there is one auction where I'm like, yeah, that's it. All the cars are spot on, perfect. Just buy with your eyes closed. Every single car comes through. It's perfect. You don't even need to ballot it. I mean, I'll give you this quick example. The first two cars I bought from BCA. This is probably going to sound really bad to people watching this, but and it wasn't my fault. The first Tiguan I got, I mean, there was, I think it was, I hope it's dog excrement in the car, not human, but it literally had dog excrement all over the floors. And I just took one look at this and the guy drove this here. I had a transport company hired to bring this car from Blackfish. The poor guy drove this here with the windows down the whole way. Of course, smelled like death. So I just took the car straight away to my valeter, spent 3 days with him, and then it also came out like this brand new. But that was my first experience with DCA. I mean, what would you do if you were in my shoes? Honestly, it's. So then obviously I bought another Polo from them. That went really well. Car was in really good condition. Slight coolant leak, fixed that. The car sold. So I do have other auctions that I deal with. So BCA is not the main one. I do buy from Eastbourne as well. If you know BCA, Eastbourne companies. A bit pricey. but the cars tend to be quite clean. Let's put it this way. Not 100%. Nothing's ever 100%, but better than the experience I had with BCA. I don't know what to tell you. That was a shocking day, man.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, yeah. I mean, none of them are going to be perfect, are they? Just cure it. I mean, I'm loving buying privately from like subscribers and stuff at the minute. Definitely getting nicer stuff, and I'm probably developing a phobia of auctions again now because, like the video we put out on the weekend, I bought the Discovery Sport and it had all cleared assured report or whatever, but you know the turbo sounds like a dentist drill, and it's just like there's nothing you can do about it. It's frustrating, but yeah, it's yeah, I don't.
What about you guys? Where do you source your cars from, mainly? Is it just BCA?
I don't use BC at all. Actually, Mannheim, Aston Barkley, AutoTrader, try and buy private, and like Joe says, having a YouTube channel, just loads of people come to you offering you cars. And also you need to get your adverts out in all your local papers and that as well, which is, you know, pretty standard. But yeah, what about you, Joe?
Yeah, I use BCA, Aston Barkley, G3.
Yeah, G3 as well, yeah.
As far as auctions go.
I've heard a lot of good things about G3.
Yeah, I mean it's like the same with any other auction. You've got to pick your way
Yeah.
through and be kind of,
That's it.
you know, careful. But
Yeah. What I'd say is don't blame the auction. Don't be mad at the auction. It's not in your control. They've got thousands of cars going through. You know, sometimes I don't take notice of assured.
But David, the fees are absolutely insane on some of these cars.
Again, I try and not look at the fees. I work my way back.
It's cool that because like when you're pricing a car up, right, you're thinking, okay, there's probably left, a grand left in this, like margin wise, and then the fees comes and hits you in the face like £350 plus that.
well, you got to be thinking about the fees long before you put your hand up to bid. That's the thing.
Exactly, but that's the thing. So you'll have about 10 cars and you'll start weeding them down one by one because like, oh, that went too expensive, oh, that went too expensive, and then you start looking at the absolute sheds and you're like, no, I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
So
It's one of those things. Like when I go to a sale, I mean, what have I got today in my watch list on BCA? I mean, it was a pretty lean day to be looking at stuff, but then I've got far more picky with what I'm looking at. But I mean, for today, what have we got? 10 cars to go through. It's not a lot, really. I mean, some days I'd sit here and put proxy bids on.
nearly 70% of my stock on his watch list, and he goes like, no, look, just a lean day.
Well, but the thing is,
That's
I'll
not a
be
lot.
surprised if I win a single one.
Yeah. That's right.
I'll be surprised. You probably get like what 10% of what you bid on.
Yeah.
So a lot of your time gets spent on doing your research. And I thought, I prefer auctions to buying privately because you can just see the cars, you find all the information, it's all in front of you, and you bid on it. But when you actually add up all the time you spend going through the auctions all night, putting the ones in the watch list, checking the history, checking the M&Ts, all that sort of stuff, and then whittle that down to how much time you spent to how many cars you bought, it's much quicker to buy something from a private person who's kind of straight up and honest and you know everything. But yeah, I mean, the thing with the auctions is you have to like be looking at. I mean, the other thing as well is I know you complain about fees. The next thing you say is like the delivery costs. But I know that if I can buy a car from Blackbush 2 hours away or wherever, bloody Kilbride or whatever the one in the BCA in Scotland is, and I can get it for a price that's including the fees and including the delivery, I've still got a big margin in it. I got to wait a few days for it to be delivered, but yeah, the price isn't the price, if you know what I mean. I think some people bid on it and they're like, oh, I bought it for £2,000 and now I got to pay 500 quid in fees, and it's like, didn't buy it for £2,000, you bought it for 2.5.
Exactly. That's it. And back in the day when I first started, fees used to be £100. And traders still complain back then, oh my God, £100. £100, it'll be going up to 120 next year. Now it's like, if you buy a 10 grand car, it's £500. But you can't think like that. You just got to work your way back. Get your retail price, work your way back. Another great reason to have AutoTrader is having moves. I don't know if you heard of moves. It's like a delivery thing. They put it's like an auction. So delivery people bid for your work. So I've bought I bought 2 cars last week from Washington, which is like 2.5 hours from here. If we got it delivered with Mannheim, it would have been 200 quid. But on moves, it was £90 plus VAT. So the great thing with that is you can look at like Scotland. Sometimes you'll get a delivery from Scotland for like 120 quid just because they're in Scotland and they need to get a car down south, you know. So that was a big game changer for me, where before I'd be just looking at auctions within like 100 miles, where now I look Scotland, I look everywhere, you know. So if you get it at the right price. And the other thing is, like, proxy bids is such a strong part of your business. I'd be up at 5 in the morning looking at BCA, Mannheim, and I'll just pick all the cars I like, and then I'll put my proxy bids in, and then I forget about it, and then I just get on with my day. Instead of you're like, I don't know, you're looking for cars during the day, you could be doing better stuff. You're moaning about warranty wise, and like, I wouldn't even waste any of my brain energy on warranty companies. Like, all this brain energy you're using on car gurus and stuff like that, just keep it simple. Buy cars, sell cars, do it as quick as you can.
That's the key. I think it's time. You don't want a car to sit for too long. And I think my advertising channels are not helping with that at all. I mean, I am selling, but I am selling really slow. Like, it's keeping me up and running or making a small profit, fair enough, but I think it could be a lot better. And it's the same time that I'm investing in this business, so I feel like I'm wasting a lot of it. I need to be a bit more efficient. And I think one way of doing it is probably taking what you said on board and exploring AutoTrader. So, in order to achieve what you just basically said, yeah.
Nothing. The funny thing with this business is, you kind of like, when you start out, you think, oh, I can buy a car for £1,000, sell it for £2,000, and double my money. There's huge margins and whatever. But the further you get in, the more you realise that nothing's cheap in this business, and the margins get smaller and smaller. So the fees are expensive when you're buying at auction. You know, transport's expensive, repairs are expensive. Well, you know, everything's expensive. But I completely lost my train of thought here. But basically, they're the rules. You know, they're this set. You've got to, like. I think the challenge for me is now, the new challenge is like, right, so that's everything's really expensive. So which is like the most efficient way? How am I going to get the most bang for my buck? You know, so I think a lot of things are a false economy. You know, if you go to, you know, some auction that's got really low fees, but it's just full of rubbish, or you're advertising on some cheaper platform. It's cheaper for a reason. If it was really good, they'd charge more. Trust me. If car gurus were as good at AutoTrader or got as good results, they'd be charging as much as AutoTrader. 100%. Yeah, the challenge is kind of like figuring out what's the best way to go. So,
Well, can't wait for the new platform coming out. This is going to be quite interesting. The Google platform.
yeah, yeah. It's going to be interesting. I know everyone's saying it's going to be a game changer, but part of me wonders, like, I don't know how many people are going to be shopping like that, but on Google. But I'm sure I'm wrong. You know, I don't know anything about this.
It will be a game changer, but we'll still be spending the same amount on advertising, I reckon, Joe. Like, it'd go, oh, well, we'll cut the AutoTrader bill in half to make up for the Google adverts. I think that's what'll happen. I think we'll just end up still spending the same amount of money on advertising. So try and get that out of your head. Just keep in your head sales. Get as many sales as you can each month. That's your main aim.
You want to level up. So you've got to level up everything. Do you know what I mean? Including the advertising in your advertising spend. Fortunately.
Is that, Joe? Have you ever seen that Grant? Have you seen that Grant Cardone where he's like 100x everything? It is like that. You've just got to do that on a smaller scale.
100x it and then 100x that, and what is it? It says something like $1,000 is only 200 X's away from. It's like,
Yeah.
what does that even mean? Anyway, I love these kind of inspirational people online. Anyway, we've talked about all your advertising and whatever. We've kind of drilled that into you. The second thing on your list was prep level. So
So obviously we've got two different aspects to this, cosmetic and mechanical, right? Now, when it comes to me, mechanical, I mean, as cheesy as it sounds, but I really do everything. So if the car comes in and it's got like an advisory on brakes, discs, pads, we change them. Tires, we change them. Like anything, any advisory on an MOT, I'm going to do it. The one thing that I realized that I'm pretty much the only one that does this around my area is I do every single cam belt, every single water pump on every single car that needs it. And when I sat down with other traders, they're like, "Why this?" I'm like, "Well, it's a selling point. The car really needs it. You know, it hits that mileage where it's not done. I don't have anything in the history to say that it's been done. I like to sleep at night. So I'll change the candle and a water pump. You know, save me a lot of hassle going forward if something happens and it does snap or something like that." So yeah, they just all go like, "That's too much. We wouldn't be able to survive if we had to do candles and water pumps in every single car that we sold." But at the same time, I feel like this is really important. Don't you think?
we didn't tell us when you came on that you started up to operate as a charity. No, I'm just kidding. I know it's nice to want to do it and be like, we do everything and we whatever, but yeah, there's just reality in life, isn't there? It's just you won't be here in 2 years' time.
Like I got a Tiguan, an automatic VH, and you could hear a little like chirping noise on the front, and immediately it's definitely the flywheel. Right now, it's not gone. The car drives perfectly fine. There's no issues with it whatsoever. It's a full service history car, but flywheel wasn't to my liking, so I changed it. And that was like £800 just to kind of sort out the whole thing.
The longer you go on, the more you'll realise someone will get in that car
Never
and they
notice
won't
it.
even hear it, or they won't associate it with a noise or whatever. And maybe just because you've picked up on it, because you're tuned into it, and I don't think it makes you like a dodgy dealer to not mention it, because you're going to be on the hook for it under the warranty period anyway. But like you say, if it's making a bit of a squeak on the flywheel, it doesn't mean the car's going to stop working or not be fit for purpose. So yeah, you do have to be a bit more hard lined, I think. But I mean, some people do really struggle with it for some reason. I mean, I used to as well. I'd be like, I don't want to send it out, with whatever that is. It's got a bit of a squeak as you put the clutch pedal in or out or whatever. They just don't even care. Just don't even notice, don't care. Even if you point it out to them, they're like, "That's all right. It's just a little squeak. It's not going to bother me." Um, but yeah, you will struggle to make money. The other thing is if just I wouldn't do it right off the get go just to have it, because if someone turns up and they do mention it, then you can say, "Do you know what? It's fine. It's mechanically fine. It just makes a weird noise. But if it would give you peace of mind, it's probably going to cost me 800 quid. Tell you what, I'll split it with you. I'll go halves with you, and it's only cost you
Exactly.
400 quid when you would have spent 800 quid in the first place." And they feel like they've got a really great deal, and they're even happier than they would be if you'd done it in advance.
Done it yourself. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Or if you're having a crisis of conscience about it, trade the cars that don't seem quite right. Just trade them out to someone else and stick with the ones that whatever, because you could make 500 quid on it or a few hundred quid on it trading it on, and then stick to the ones that you feel more confident in.
I mean, really nice cars. I mean, I tend to really just go overboard. I'll be honest with you. Like currently I've got an S class. It's like a Brabus S class, and it's going to be up for sale in the next probably couple of days. We're doing differential oil, gearbox oil, engine oil, all the filters, control arms, brake discs, pads, like you name it. And it's all obviously genuine stuff. If it's not genuine stuff, it's like the proper, like for example, suspension parts in Mercedes. You don't need to buy Mercedes parts. You just go buy Lanforda. So they're the same manufacturer that makes them for Mercedes. It's like half the price pretty much. Uh, so we use really quality parts. We use genuine when we can. I just feel like you can't really get away with it when it's a really nice, pristine car. You have to make it look like $1 million. you know.
So just make it part of the negotiation. If they don't ask, then you've done it for nothing. You've literally thrown money down the drain for nothing. If they want it done, then you could say, yeah, no worries. Do you know what? I'm going to do all this, but it's even just. I mean, I don't know if you discount or not, but a lot of people will do a discount. People want to come in. If someone comes in with the idea in their head they need to get a discount, even if you won't give them 50 quid off, they'll walk away from the car because they feel like they haven't got a deal. You can say, look, I'll do all that sort of stuff because I am the guy that likes to do everything on the car, but it is full asking price then. And then you've got a really good deal. You've got this car at the screen price, but think about all this extra stuff that you've got. If you can add it as like an add-on rather than I've already done it. I mean, if you're like the Tom Hartleys of the world and you've got 75 grand profit in a car, by all means, go ahead and do it. But if we're talking about whittling down a, 2.5 grand profit to £1,000 because you've done a load of stuff, then yeah, we can't be friends anymore, Jordan. It just doesn't make sense.
No, that's fine.
He's right. Joe's so right. Joe's right in everything he says. 1,000,000%. Same with your cam belts. If a cam belt's not due for another 5,000, you can then say to the customer, look, I could have on you, or we can get done at trade price.
It's not just the mileage, David, right? It's either the mileage or the years. So if it's been 8 years already, and if it's done like 20,000 miles in 8 years, it doesn't mean you don't need to change the cam belt because 8 years have passed and that cam belt's rubber's just deteriorating and it's expired pretty much, right? That's the way I'm thinking about it. Not just the mileage. I'm making sure that, in case it's frayed or cracked or something due to age and time, that's why I'm doing this. Although, to be fair, a lot of times when you take the cam belts out, they're pretty much in good nick, So it kind of feels like, yeah, I know, but the people don't know that. And they're coming here nowadays with this economical climate we're in, when they've got 5 grand, 6 grand, all the way up to 10 grand. It's a lot of money for these people, and I just feel like I don't want to sell them something that breaks down in 2 months' time. That's the thing. And if it means I do a cam belt on a car, screw it. I'll do a cam belt on a car. Like this is where my thought process is.
Have you worked out when you do that though? What your net profit works out to on a car?
It does whittle it down quite a bit. I'm not going to lie to you, but
Yeah.
I mean, I do have some really good relations with a few mechanics around here. Like I've got a bit of a hierarchy, so we've got a mechanic for all the basic stuff, like all the oil changes, whatever, silly stuff, wiper changes. I've got another mechanic that could do all the other stuff like brake discs, pads, control arms, whatever. Anything that I get which is engine related or anything, there's one guy that I can only trust for him to touch the cars that I deal with.
Will they get you in fairly quickly?
Oh yeah,
Like if you wanted a cam belt done, how long are we talking?
2 days.
Just stop doing the cam belts in advance because it's not holding anything up. If they ask and they want it done, great. Do you know what? I can get it sorted for you, and I know it's going to cost me X amount. Let's split it, or let's do it at the screen price. I honestly think people will feel better that they've got the cam belt done as part of the deal than you having done it in advance. 100%, 100%. That's how I feel. They'll feel like they've negotiated it. They've got a deal, and also they'll feel like you're actually going to do it rather than you just saying, "Yeah, we did the cam belt. That's all been done, mate. Everything's all sorted." You know what I mean? It's just let's work with you. You're gonna have to hang on for a few days, but we're going to get this car sorted for you. I honestly think people will feel like it's a better. If you can't get the cars into a garage quickly, then fair enough. But
I think as well, Jordan, the mistake you're making, and again, me and Joe, all traders do this in the beginning. We all expect the cars to be prepped to like our sort of standard, but not everyone's like us. There are people that just want a car just because, look, you bought that Tiguan from BCA and it was covered in dog crap. That Merc that you've just fixed, Merc you're doing up. Imagine this, right? The Merc, you've spent fortunes on it, whatnot, and then they ring up a few months later with an O2 sensor problem, and then you go and pick that car up to bring it back, and it's full of dog hairs, it's full of this, it's full of that. Not everyone's like us. You've just got to prepping a car to a standard, it's a commercial enterprise we're in. We need to make a profit. I've worked it out. If you make £1,000 gross profit on a car, really we only make 10% of that gross profit. So £1,000 gross profit, we're only making £100 a car. So that's why you can't be spending fortunes on all these bits and bobs. You know, we saw the Tesla the other week, and the customer was like, "Oh, the tyres are going to be ready like next year. Can you put 4 Michelins on for us?" And they were like 300 quid each. What do you think I said to that customer? What do you think? I was like, "No, we're not doing that. Like, I've got overheads, I've got people to pay for. You know, it's educating people, and it's just like, honestly, I would buy a car from you, Jordan. Like, your standards are impeccable, but you won't be doing this again. In 10 years' time, you will not be doing this job."
I try. I mean, like for example, the body shop guy absolutely hates me because I'm the kind of customer that comes in, gives him a car, comes back 2 days, 3 days later, whenever it's ready, and I'm literally looking at it for every single little thing. Oh, there's a little imperfection there, there's this, there's that. Also, you know, trade jobs, they don't really put as much effort as they do retail jobs, and obviously they charge us a lot less than, you know, the normal retail customer or insurance companies or wherever. But again, if it's not good enough for me, that's what I'm thinking. Why would it be good enough for her, him, or him, or him? You know what I mean? It's just I want my cars to be in a state where if you look at it, you go like, that's a clean car. Even if it's a 10-year-old, 12-year-old, 13-year-old car. I mean, I've sold a 2002 Daihatsu for £3,000. That was an automatic, right? It was 30,000 miles, absolutely pristine. Thing. You could literally, and they drove it for about a year, and it came back to me, sold it back to me again, and then I just got rid of it in trade because I really didn't want to sell another 2002 car on my lot. But that was one of the first cars that I started with, for example. So I don't care about the age, as long as it looks good, performs well, you know, it's got the history behind it. Oh, one more thing. If the car's got only one key, I will make another one. So I know. Like Aaron shaking his head like, can't believe this is happening.
I mean, it's great. It's great. You know, it's a really nice, and I understand. I think people when they're starting out or they're newer to this, they feel like the more you spend on a car, the more desirable it's going to be. But like with everything, the profit's made when you buy it, not when you sell it. The car is as desirable as it's ever going to get. You can't add, you know, the car that someone will see that car and look through, and maybe they might discount it if it doesn't have 2 keys and the cam belt hasn't been done. But it's still just as popular, so enough people are still going to see it, and someone is going to have it. And the other thing I notice as well, I think with people who are sort of newer in car sales, they got someone interested in the car, and the customer wants something, they'll give it to them, whatever it is, because they feel like it's justified, rather than just like me or David, just be like, if they say, oh well, yeah, the tires are on like 5mm tread, and really it should be new ones at 8. So I'd like, just for peace of mind, so I don't have to change them in 6 months, I'd like 4 new tires on it. Me and David just be like, no, that's not happening. Goodbye to you. You seem like a right pain in the arse. Roll on the next customer who wants to buy it, because again, it's a business. It's not just, you know, like running a car club where you're the guy that does all the best stuff, the nicest stuff, and whatever.
In an ideal world, you want to be that, but it's not sustainable, unfortunately. That's the thing. You're right. I'm just always worried about the reviews as a new business. Google reviews are pretty.
Don't worry about the reviews.
People here really do check the reviews. Like I have loads of people that come to me like, we've actually looked at reviews and that's why we're here, which is
I
great.
get that, and people will still leave you a lovely review, even if you haven't done the cam belt in advance and you haven't done the key. Again, like, I think get the customer involved in the whole process. Do you know what I mean? They come to look at the car and you'd be like, right, so we've got this car in. It's lovely. Just be upfront if you want. You're like, it hasn't got the other key, you know, and technically it's due a cam belt. And just, or even if they ask or whatever, but you know, just say, look, if you really want those things done, we can do it. I probably have to charge you a little bit extra because of a car that's 10 years old. These are sort of like the standard things that are taken into account anyway. If you want it 100% right, that's how we love to sell them. So let's have a deal. It'll cost us £1,000 for a key and a cam belt and whatever. 500 quid extra on top, and we'll get it done for you.
I have to take a leaf from your book, definitely. It does make sense what you're saying, 100%. I think I do over prep the cars mechanically, if that's even a thing.
I think it is a thing, because earlier you were saying if you got a car and it's got advisories for discs and pads and whatever, that you will do them, or tyres or whatever.
You would keep disc and pads advisories without having the disc and pads changed, honestly.
I'd have a mechanic check it, because an MOT is only a visual inspection from whatever, and if they're saying the tyres are low or whatever, I mean, God, I mean, the MOT station is literally it's pot luck. You know, you send something in, because we do send it for an MOT, and we'll do our own like PDI safety inspection on it, and they'll be like, oh, they've advised it for you know, this tire looks low or something, and you'd be like, well, it's got loads of tread on it, and there's nothing wrong with it or whatever. It looks perfectly fine.
Swearing
But
on the
they
inner
completely
shoulder.
missed the CV joint that's like pouring grease out.
Yeah,
So then we'll
it's so
fix that.
true.
So I'd rather, you know, and that's like a huge safety issue. It's going all over the brakes and whatever. Or they'll say, you just send, the car's been parked on the forecourt for ages. You send it over for its MOT because someone's interested in it. They'll say brake disc pitted, worn, scored, and whatever. And it's like, no, it's a bit of surface corrosion. It will clean off. And it does make life more difficult when it comes to then explaining it to the customer. But, I mean, do you know what? Most customers, if they're like, oh, we looked at the MOT and we saw what it said about a tyre, and we saw what it said about brakes, and we'll just say, yeah, I know. I mean, I don't know why the MOT centre was saying that. Our mechanics have looked it over. They're perfectly happy with it. If you want to check it out, you can see that the discs don't have a lip, and actually there's 7 mil of tread or pad on the brake pads, and the tyre that they said was worn unevenly or something, it must have been dirty or whatever because it looks fine. But either way, if you have any problems with these things in the first 3 months, then come back and see us. That's what we're here for. But we're completely happy that it's fine. You saved yourself 500 quid right off the bat just doing stuff that didn't need doing.
Honestly, I think with all the discs and pads that I've changed, if I kept them, I could have started a second-hand disc, brake discs and pads business on its own.
You're doing it for the sake of it, you know. It's
Every garage has a fetish for different things. So, like, some garages will have a fetish for wheels. So the garage we used to use next door, they had a fetish for discs and pads. Now, we've not used them for about, this garage next door for about 4 months, and I swear to God, I must have saved $3,000 on discs and pads.
Discs and pads.
Yeah, seriously.
it sounds like we're joking, but it's not. We got an MOT centre that's a tyre place, so that guess what they always advise. Exactly. Even though we never buy tyres from them, that's just what they've got their eye in for, isn't it? But
Yeah.
then they'll miss like the ball joint that's like literally like slapping about like that. It just doesn't make sense.
As long as they sell you a tire, that's all that matters. Yeah, my guy has got a fetish with exhaust flexis and handbrake travel. I almost have that on every single car.
Yeah, and it's so
Just loves
annoying.
it.
So annoying. Next door, they used to think that light misting of oil, get the garage would be like, well, it's just light misting of oil. But to a customer, just the word oil on a MOT, it's like end of the world. End of the world. So you've got to try and educate your MOT inspector, I suppose.
We had something go out just the other day, and I think it might have been our Cayman that we sold for like 22, 24 grand or whatever. And it came back with an advisory. Of course, the customer had looked it up, and they're like, "Oh, it said about the brake hoses corroded or covered in grease or material or whatever." And it's like, yeah, we looked at that because we couldn't believe it. And what it was mud, and just literally cleaned the mud off. They were like perfect, pristine, brand new underneath. So we took pictures like this. These are the advisories. Like, what are you going to do? Spend 200 quid on hoses for a Porsche? Like, hell no. Yeah, you just got to be careful of it. Just every time you're doing it, it's not a car for you, is it? And it's not a car for someone. The thing you were saying about your reviews, doing it the way me and Dave are saying isn't going to cause you to have bad reviews, and doing it the way you're doing it isn't guaranteed to give you better reviews. Do what makes sense for the business, because at the end of the day, you could have a business that's got amazing reviews, but you're losing 10 grand a month every month because you're just going over the top. So you got to strike that balance, I guess.
I know a trader who's got 1 star out of 5, and he sells 20 cars a week.
You need to get those stars down, Jordan.
I need to go and sit down with them for 5 minutes. Like, that guy's like, how on earth is he doing it? It must be black magic or voodoo or something. As soon as the customer
Very,
comes,
very cheap cars.
What you remember is people want to buy. So people will, just like when I go to auction and I'll see a car I'm really interested in buying, but then I look around it and all the tyres are knackered and I realise the brakes look rubbish. I start justifying it to myself. I'll be like, oh, that's all right. It's not going to be that much to do. That'll be all right. I can figure this out, and then I end up buying it. Whereas the customer comes and you've got bad reviews, then they're probably, some of them will just be like, oh, but I love this car. There's no way I'm letting it go. Maybe this is a good one. I'm getting into hypotheticals, but yeah, don't lean into it too much. We've still got 2 other things to cover, and we're about an hour in, so I thought we better knock on. So we've got, you're not FCA regulated. You're financing through a broker. Are you getting asked for finance a lot or not?
I mean, a lot.
Really?
Yeah, it's and I'm talking about finance like on cars that are 4-5 grand. I've got 1,000. Can I finance the rest of my? 70-80% of the time they get rejected anyways. Unfortunately, it's not like it's in my hands to give them a car. It's whatever the broker finds a lender that's gonna work with them or not. And a lot of the time, it's unfortunately not. When you can't afford a 4 or 5 grand car cash, it's most likely you can't really afford it on finance.
Are you getting many inquiries on cars like in the 5 to 10 grand?
5 to 10 grand, you do have a few finance inquiries, but most of those are actually cash. It's like, I think whoever's looking for a car between the 5 to 8K, they've got the money for it, they can buy it straight away. But we do get the odd finance deal here and there for that kind of price range. Obviously, anything above, 10K is most likely just going to be finance. But yeah, I mean, we don't sell much of those, to be fair.
Do you know what I would suggest? Is just to save you headaches, problems, issues down the line, or a lot of wasted time, just introduce a rule. We don't finance cars below £5,000 or £6,000 or whatever it is. Takes it right off your plate. You might lose a few sales, but you save yourself a lot of time, and you also avoid, those aren't the type of people that you want to be financing a car with, because anything that goes wrong, the minor little things, it's going to be done through the finance company. It's going to be a real problem. Just avoid it. I'm sure Dave will agree.
Yes, I mean, I am just as an introducer right now with one of the brokers that I deal with. So I kind of run under their FCA license. Obviously, I can take the customer's details, capture the details and everything, but I cannot discuss finances with them, like actual income and payments, monthly payments, etc. That's their job to do. And once they're done with the customer, it literally a couple of hours. It's not even that long. We do a soft credit check. If that passes, they actually go out to the lenders and find a deal for them. They come back and say, yes, I'm happy with that. They send the papers to them, and I get paid literally the same day if the car's ready to be collected. So can't really complain about that. But it's just I'm thinking if you guys may, I mean, are you FCA regulated? Do you do your own finance deals? I suppose, yeah.
Yep.
Do you think it makes a big difference to do that and to go through the hassle of doing that, or just to stay where I am right now?
To be honest, the way that it sounds like you've got it set up, where you just hand it over to the broker and they discuss everything with the customer and then hand it back to you, I would do that if I could. Rather than sitting there and going through it with the customer and trying to find them different deals and then them chasing you to find out whatever it is and have you heard back and have you not, and then breaking the news to them that they're a decline or Richie, then leave it in someone else's hands.
Don't you get a kickback out of your finance deals?
We do, yeah. But I don't know if that's ending now.
Why?
I've got a feeling that might be ending now. Close Brothers have just stopped doing finance. So has even Honda aren't doing finance currently. And I don't know who else. I mean, Moto Nova won't be far behind. Barclays, because Close Brothers just lost some kind of court case the other day about commission. They've all stopped doing it, and the rules on commission is going to change. So don't. I mean, we don't get loads of commission anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's like
£600-700.
it depends. It depends on what deal you've got sort of set up, and what it all depends on what rate the customer gets approved for. So The problem that used to be with commission is that you could choose the rate that they would go on. You could have someone who is approved for 6%, and car dealers could say, well, to get you to your monthly price that you wanted, 300, they'll know that they could get it way cheaper for them, but they're like, yeah, we can do that, and they put them on 12%, and then they get a bigger kickback, which obviously is unfair. Whereas now it's all done on what the customer get approved for. So it could be anything from, all depends on who you use, but like 1% to 5-6% maybe, or a fixed fee or whatever. None of it's huge. It adds up and it's an added little bonus, obviously, but yeah, it's probably all changing now anyway. So
Currently, we do have a fixed fee on every single deal with them. I mean, they didn't really offer it as an introducer, but tried my best to negotiate it, and I got something, something out of it instead of nothing, basically.
I would just stick with that for now, for sure, and try and introduce a rule maybe that whittles out some of the time wasters, so you can be like, well, I mean, if it's not on your hands, then great, but I still feel like it could spell trouble ahead. Financing $4,000 cars.
It is a lot of trouble, trust me. You got to make sure that car stays working like clockwork for 6 months.
Yeah, because they'll complain to the finance company. The finance company don't want to deal with it, so they're just going to lean on you to sort the problem. And if you don't, they still don't want to hear from the customer. In my experience, and a lot of experience, they'll just give the money back to the customer and then just take you to court. So it's just like, it was never worth it. And your last thing was accounting, working out your VAT margin.
This is the worst part of the business.
Yeah, I hate accounting and whatever as well.
Do you do it manually, Jordan? Do you work out the VAT manually yourself?
No. I'll tell you what I do. I have a spreadsheet, right, where I have to. I've got like part of it is my incoming, part of it's my outgoing, right? Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. That's for incoming. That's for outgoing. So let's say Q1 for all the incomings, Q1, and then Q1 for all the outgoings, on the same Excel spreadsheet. And it will work out the VAT automatically. It's set at 20%. But then when it's a car that's being sold, I have to go there, delete the 20% from that sale, put 0, and then actually do the maths of the marginal VAT, and then enter the VAT there manually in order for the spreadsheet to do the calculations correctly. And just the fact that I have to go through every single transaction on my bank statement and enter it manually. This is the supplier. This is what we bought. This is the payment method used on this date for this much. And you got to enter the amount before VAT because the spreadsheet calculates the VAT for you. It's a nightmare. I mean, seriously, it's an absolute nightmare. And I've asked a couple of accountants. I'm like, there has to be a better way. There has to be. I mean, instead of me hiring someone here full-time doing this, there has to be a better way. They're like, yeah, I'm really sorry. There isn't any electronic or software solution for car dealers. So you have to just deal with it.
Not that they know of, but there is. There's loads of different things. Obviously, I use Dealer Kit and I love them, but they are 300 something quid a month or whatever.
All right, let's skip that then.
Yeah, well, that works for us because it probably saves us some bookkeeping time.
Yeah.
But there are other cheaper options. What was the one I want to say? Like Auto Sales Systems. With someone else that reached out to me at one point. I think they've got a package from like 30 quid. It's not going to be as glossy and whatever as Dealer Kit, but I'm sure if you say that we recommended them, maybe they'll even do the deal. I don't know, but yeah, you just want something where you put your cost price in and it kind of splits it all out for you and tells you what your margin is. But yeah, it's actually really quite simple. You could do it on a spreadsheet. You could probably go to people per hour or Fiverr and go to someone who's a spreadsheet creation or something. There'll be a job, and you could ask them to say, "This is what I want. I need a column for putting my purchase price in, the column for my expenses."
Yeah. Right now, I've got another spreadsheet that calculates my marginal VAT for me. I just put my cost, I put my selling price, I get the marginal VAT. I copy that, I put it in the other spreadsheet because that's my day-to-day operations, right? My issue is I want to stop the actual manual labor of putting every single transaction from my statements quarter over quarter. It's actually driving me mad. And like, if there's something that kind of like capture the data from the actual banking app and just like put them in a CSV format, an Excel sheet or
Well,
something?
QuickBooks will do that, and I'll send you a link to get you like 90% off QuickBooks.
QuickBooks.
It will connect up to your banking. I mean, we still use that for our main business accounts,
Okay.
and it's like, I don't know, like 16 quid a month, but it probably costs you like £1 a month with this 90% off. I'll put that on. I'll send it to you, but I'll put it on the screen as well. I'll get Jason to put it on the screen, so if anyone wants the link, I'll put it in the description. You can find that. That you can connect it up to your bank account, and that will just recognise transactions. So it does that for us, and it ties it up. And if you do your invoicing through QuickBooks, it will recognise the payment.
Suppose you have any cash transactions, are you able to enter that
No,
manually?
you'd have
on
to
there
do
as
them
well?
manually, cash.
Yeah, you have to enter it in manually, but it's got the option to do it on there.
I've got 2 business accounts as well. That's what kind of like
That's fine.
complicates it even
You
more.
can connect as many accounts as you
Yeah.
want.
Oh yeah? Okay.
We've got 2 accounts and a company credit card.
Do you work out your VAT every quarter then yourself? You do all of that yourself?
It's my main spreadsheet that does it for me, but I have to enter every single transaction manually. At the end, it will give me a little summary of everything that came in, everything that went out, and how much I owe in that at the end of that.
You need QuickBooks. That'll sort that out. However, have you got a bookkeeper?
I've got an accountant that does my filing, that does my personal tax, and they do our like PAYE. Some of the like just things, the main things, like when it comes to like confirmation statement, I do it myself. When it comes to VAT returns, I like to do it myself.
Jordan, do you know every month how much money you make?
I mean, at the
Yeah,
end of
yeah,
the it gives you a good, obviously, impression of everything that happened in the past 3 months. But
Yeah.
also on my banking app, you do have the cash flow charts as well, which come in really handy. Kind of puts you in that I know where I'm at kind of zone.
Yeah.
You know how much came in that month. But obviously, it doesn't really work like that because there are some cars that I bought 2 months ago that I sold this month.
Yeah. So you need a bookkeeper. Like I can put you in touch with my I don't know, £100 a month, something like that. But it will just it'll save you so much time. You know what I mean? Like time that you need to be going out buying cars and selling cars. That's why we have bookkeepers.
So will he or she actually do the actual manual labor that I'm doing now? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, so basically, in my business, I have a woman that they call it bean counting. So she does the bean counting, Kel. So she does what you hate, you know. She puts everything on. Well, we use Zero. She puts everything on Zero and Dropbox, and then the bookkeeper works out the margins and stuff, and then she tells us at the end of the month how much we've made or lost. And it probably costs me about 200 quid, but it just takes it away from me having to do it.
You're right. You're right. It definitely is something that I need to improve in my business.
Or speak with your accountant, because they could, if you use QuickBooks, you give your accountant a login so they can see all the information and whatever. And if they can input some of your expenses for you, I mean, a lot of it will be done via the banking app thing. And then, yeah, they're not going to charge you a lot extra to do your VAT returns. I wouldn't have a bloody clue where to start with doing my VAT returns. I'm at the mercy of my accountant, 100%. I just cry every time she sends it to me.
Jordan, you're a car dealer. You're not a bookkeeper, you're not an accountant, you're not a mechanic, you're a car dealer. You've got to focus on that, mate.
Decent balance there, you know.
Tell you what, the money you spend on a bookkeeper or whatever, say it's 100 quid or whatever, that would give you the time to spend a bit of money on doing like social media stuff and maybe some Facebook and Instagram ads for your cars, which will save you on the eventual AutoTrader bill. You know, it's making it all work.
I used to do that. I used to be really active on my social media, on my Instagram specifically. But it got to the point where it was so tiring to keep up. It's because it's so many things you have to deal with. It's really, I'm not just exaggerating. It's, you know, exactly what this job entails. It's like you're buying, you're selling, you're dealing with people, you're dealing with mechanics, body shops, it's and then on top of that you got the accounts, and then now you have to start posting on social media. It's just like, can I get a break, please? By the way, that's one more thing. I work 7 days a week. I don't have a day off. I'm a 7 day a week guy, and I'm here in the morning, and I leave about 5:30, 6 o'clock. That's every single day.
What Joe's saying here is the stuff that's going to give you best return on investment is advertising, AutoTrader, and social media. That's going to get you your buying of your cars, your selling of your cars, putting all the money into the main stuff, advertising, social media, and buying cars.
Absolutely. I think I have to start putting more time into that and less time in other things, and advertising on the right channels for the trader, basically. I'll give it a shot, definitely. I think it's worth trying. It's not just you that, you know, it's not just you that you're saying it, but I can see it working for other people as well. So it must be the right thing. So I'm gonna give it a shot and see how it goes. Hopefully,
Brilliant.
start shifting double.
Well, we'll catch up with you in 6 months then when you've got like 50 cars and your auto trader bills 10 grand and all that sort of stuff.
I can't even imagine it. 10 grand auto traded every month. Absolute. That's just diabolical to even think about it. Oh
It's
man.
nothing when you're turning over the money though.
Exactly.
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to cover before we sort of wrap it up, Jordan?
Well, I think we went over all the points. I would love that QuickBooks link. So you want to put that in the video as well, he said.
Yeah, I'll get that emailed over to you.
Check that out. And thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. And thank you for doing these videos. They're always entertaining and very useful. That's the main thing. And yeah, and hopefully I will take your advice on board, and we'll see some changes in the business very soon.
No problem. I'm sure plenty of people will learn some good stuff from this as well. So, where can everyone find you? What are you on? You must be on Instagram and Facebook and all that sort of stuff.
So it's Red Sparrow Motors, and it's redsparrowltd.com. That's the website. So feel free to follow us on Instagram. Visit us if you're looking for a overprepped car.
I'm going to buy a car from you.
There you go. If you want a really decent car, come and see me, guys. I'll look after
Come
you.
and see Jordan.
Yeah, there you go. And
All right.
again for having me, man. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on. We'll catch up with you soon.